Money-obsessed publishers, toxic online communities, misleading advertising, Gamergate, failed crowdfunded projects, free speech versus censorship, and Peter fucking Molyneux. These all show that as much as we love video games, they come with caveats and a darker side that we just don't like.
But just how dark is that underbelly of gaming, and what is the stuff that goes beyond the grey areas of what we argue about week in, week out? And are there illegal aspects of gaming that operate to take a slice of the big money pie? I don't know why I did that. We are Twisted Mind Gaming, and this week we're asking, how much has organised crime impacted the video game industry?
Cheating has become a pretty broad term in video games, and hardly something new for the medium. Cheating used to be bashing in the Konami code, so you had a reasonable chance at finally beating Contra. But in the world of competitive online gaming, where terms such as aimbot and lag switch and ghosting are all firmly embedded into our shared gaming lexicon, it has a more significant meaning.
With the meteoric rise of esports, we're opened up to a whole new aspect of cheating in video games, where not only do we have to combat the issues of aimbots and boosting, we also have the added threat of match fixing and more traditional racketeering, especially with the ever-growing esports betting market.
The Esports Integrity Coalition conducted a study in 2015 that delivered concrete examples of match fixing, technical and officiating corruption, identified possibilities for spot fixing and tournament structural manipulation in esports competitions. Not being isolated to a single game, elements of corruption have been found during Counter-Strike, League of Legends and StarCraft 2 events.
Enterprises like this are rarely driven by a small group of ambitious opportunists. Often in sport as a whole, these issues are rooted in organised crime. And although we wouldn't like to delve into specifics, there are almost certainly a few concrete examples of this being the case. More interestingly, these examples are often found in the middle to lower tiers of competitive esports.
Japan is a nation with an undeniable stake in the growth of the gaming industry, a country that effectively guided the industry through the turmoiled 80s, a time when video games were on their knees and the market crashed. Japan pulled gaming through the slump and resurrected it in the 90s.
But even with such a legacy, the absence of Japanese teams in the larger esports scene largely goes unnoticed. How is it that such a large gaming nation isn't represented in the emerging market of gaming superstars and elites? And the short answer? Organised crime, namely the Yakuza.
The Yakuza are Japanese organised crime syndicates who operate within separate families that form together into clans. Bound together by a strict code of conduct, deep traditions and rituals whose roots trace back to the samurai of the 17th century, the modern Yakuza is known for both their legal business investments, like real estate management and disaster relief, and a less than legal side which includes extortion, kidnapping, human and drug trafficking, assassinations and much, much more. This is all alleged, okay, so don't hurt us.
You see, in order to effectively combat organised crime in Japan, certain industries that are much more susceptible to Yakuza interference are more heavily regulated. Pachinko, for example, is a very lucrative cash business that by its very nature is vulnerable to extortion. In efforts to fight organised crime, industries like adult entertainment, gambling and amusements are all governed under the same blanket regulations.
These regulations also apply to video games, which according to the head of the publisher for Famitsu magazine, Hirokazu Hamamura, in Japan players can't make a living from gaming, and without star players, there's no one to spread the message. It's a huge problem for the industry. The regulations are holding Japan back from a $5 billion global market, but the Yakuza have even deeper roots in gaming than you may think.
You may be surprised to learn that Nintendo didn't actually start as a video game company and has in fact changed a few times since it was founded. Before getting into gaming in the 80s, Nintendo was a toy company, tried to sell instant rice, operated a taxi company, a TV network and set up a love hotel chain. But before all that, Nintendo was founded as a playing card company in 1889.
Playing cards rose in popularity in Japan when they adopted Western-style cards, which resulted in a large increase in gambling. Eventually, Japan banned foreign imports, including playing cards, to reduce wider Western influence. Unsurprisingly, banning these cards did not put a stop to gambling culture, but instead produced the rise of Hanafuda, an image-based playing card without numbers on the face of the cards. This, along with the fact that the game took a long time to play, meant the Japanese government weren't that inclined to ban it. As such, the Yakuza would play Hanafuda in gambling houses across the country, which created a massive demand for the cards.
It was this demand upon which the Nintendo playing card company was founded in the Kyoto Prefecture, an area known for its heavy population of Yakuza. It could even be argued that the Yakuza themselves were part of the creation of one of the most beloved brands in modern gaming. I suppose we can only speculate from here whether Nintendo was founded for the Yakuza or by the Yakuza.
There's a bunch more run-ins between the Yakuza and the gaming industry, from stolen shipments of game cartridges to kidnapping the family members of game devs. It's all really interesting stuff that can be found in The Untold History of Japanese Game Developers Volume 2 by John Szczepaniak, and you can find the link to some further reading in the description box below.
The gaming industry and wider organised crime might be more intrinsically linked than you first thought. Ultimately, by the nature of this video, a lot of this information is sourced from unverified places, so take as much as you want with a pinch of salt. But there's plenty of verified studies and other resources out there that paint a picture of things that gaming companies may not want you to know. But if you like this kind of video, don't forget to subscribe to our little tiny wee channel, and let us know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching!